And hello everybody, welcome back to my channels. Maybe we can make the webcam a little bit smaller, so let's do that like this. I don't need it that big. So welcome back to my channels. Today is Sunday. Turn off notifications. So today is Sunday, 4th August 2024, and I finally arrived at the point which I was looking for quite a while. It was 5 years since I started to play ARK Survival Evolved, and it has to end at a point. And today is that day which I chose to end this journey, to end my story as a survivor who was playing ARK Survival Evolved on PvE server cluster, and you saw what cluster that was on the screen. I left that there deliberately. And I was playing in Czechoslovak community, and I played since the beginning of August 2019. So it was a remarkable time, a lot of fun. So this is going to be my last farewell stream of ARK Survival Evolved, and after this I am going to contact the admin and we will delete all the tribe structures, all the tribe creatures, and forget about this season. Everything will be deleted. It was the year when Workers and Resources Soviet Republic came out, when I started to play, but our Soviet Republic came out in March, and this was August, so it was 4 to 5 months of intensive play of Workers and Resources. And then I was invited by my brother and found some new friends when I started to play with them. And today I want to go and make some remarks to make this a little bit more reasonable. So most of the time I played on this one private server cluster with some friends, and it has a great support from admin, so it was pleasant gameplay. The key of such play was that there were no wipes on servers, which means we were able to focus on long-term play. And despite all the efforts and excessive amount of time spent while playing, there was still a lot to do, because this game is such a beautiful and complex game. The game just has some aspects like breeding, in which you can go pretty far, but progress is slow. And also some of the bosses are quite difficult to defeat. And you just cannot go in single-handedly. With some creatures you need help, you need to cooperate with people. And if you imagine that this game came out in 2015, it's still beautiful. So after playing this game for about 7,000 hours in last 5 years, I came to the end of the season of life, and it means everything has to be deleted. We need to make some meaningful video and we need to make some meaningful video to get some value of it, because otherwise nothing will remain. So, as ARK was never my primary content, it was not featured a lot on my channels. But we can learn something from parallels that we can draw with real life and real world. Otherwise, we can say it is a vanity of vanities, as it is written in the book of Ecclesiastes. A person who wrote that was supposed to be the wisest man who ever lived on the earth. So it was King Solomon who wrote about vanities, and he was pretty successful in his life. So where do we start? I think we can get a tour at the beginning to see what we achieved, what we built. As Valguero was my home for so many years, and this tower was built at the very beginning. At the very beginning I built this tower as our tribe headquarters to create some kind of better looking structure than just boxes which were built by my tribe mates. Over the time we conquered Valguero and we got into different parts. Once in the time there was a base we had on the castle in jungle. So it was a remarkable event there that happened, memorable event when we organized a New Year party for the whole server. We had a couple dozen people coming to here and have some fun with us. So the bosses here were not that difficult to defeat, but the hardest difficulty was sometimes challenging with some deaths. But that's part of the game. You cannot go perfect, that nobody dies, no risk. So this was my beginning when I built this tower. And all the surroundings were added over time, and all the creatures as well came as breeding. As I progressed with breeding, resource farming, and collection of items in the game. It's very difficult to speak about all that, but I think we will continue slowly. So we can go through the tower now to have a look at the base floor with an industrial forge and some crafting. And we can go up where we have some resources, some cryo fridges and some equipment in storages, some ammo. Let's say this is a dining room, and we can go further up. This was meant to be some kind of place where we can breed some creatures. Then a sky garage for some flyers. Going even higher, another floor, we arrive to the war room, where we have some artifacts on display, some storages, some blueprints, And the trophies. And we are missing one trophy here. I think that was Death Worm Head. And above that we have a storage. A lot of cryofridges, some creatures displayed, which we bred. A lot of armor, a lot of equipment in the area, in that room. And on top we have another landing zone. Another landing zone, because we had to bring in the creatures and bring all those resources and all that equipment into that storage room. And on top we have, and on top of the tower we have some heliports, power supply, and the greenhouse. I forgot the word. Back in time, this was my whole base here. Over time we expanded because this is the surface. The great taming pen, we built the small one, then the big one. As we expanded, and a lot of creatures were brought into that, and a lot of wood was burned, a lot of metal was forged in those forges. So the next thing I have to take a look at was the underground base. Underground breeding base, but I'm missing a light, so I need my light pet, as we are in aberration zone on Valguero, and this became a breeding base for creatures that don't lay eggs. Also built some forges here, and we have a lot of resources here, some farming equipment. A lot of creatures were bred in this area, and it's only a tiny small house with which is focusing mainly on breeding, because breeding was great part of my life in this game. And if I just imagine that all the cementing paste I made last time in couple of hours. So we had couple of teleports on Valguero. Robbie Adams, welcome. So I built a teleport here in Redwoods because there. Oh. These. Because there is a lot of obsidian here. Oh, come on. Have some shooting for fun as we are coming to the end. Hello, hello. That's not dead. You can spend all the ammo. Not very good shooter, as you can see. So this was only mainly because there is a lot of obsidian, metal and crystal. And the farming in the metal crystal cave on Valguero. We built a teleport and we had a forge there. Then we have another teleport at Blue Obelisk because it's quite peaceful and you can prepare creatures here for boss fights. Then we have another teleport near Wyverns, where we usually went to get some milk, or also farmed a lot of eggs because I tried to make a great ice wyvern. Then another teleport was built in Magma Cave because I used to breed magmasaurs there, which were allowed to breed in the lava cave on Valguero. Then we have a teleport in Aberration Zone because there were a lot of farming done. There was a lot of farming done down there. There are Carcinoses and you can farm chitin from them. The last resort is the castle on Valguero, which is now empty. We have only one tech generator and a teleport here. And the last part of this whole setup on Valguero is my underground breeding base, which is sealed with a double tech wall, as nobody is coming to this part of the map. It's pretty safe and huge area where we were able to do some mass breeding with Rexes, Spinos, some smaller creatures, Allos, Eutyrannuses, Gigas, Therizinosaurus, some flyers like Snow Owls, Argentavises. And also here are the Ice Wyverns. And some of my favorite creatures are still out. So but just to show you how much we were into breeding, you can see how many cryofridges do we have here. Almost all kinds of creatures. As I didn't like to kill them, I kept the babies, only later started to get rid of them. So we have a lot of cryofridges. Not all are full, some of them are, but that's part of the game. Then if you are breeding, you have to go big. A lot of stuff, a lot of vanity. So now we take our alternative gear and we are leaving for other maps just to complete the tour. So first we go to the very first map where we went mainly for boss fights. Mainly for boss fights. As there was not that much to do, as other maps were better, Other maps were better for resource farming and taming. So this became my main base on island, and from here we organized some events with multiple people involved when we went the tech cave, maybe 7 or 8. Oh, how many people can go? I don't even know. But we went, so many of us that some people had to remain. Do not go and die in the cave. So this was only just a base when you can go to do some caves to repair equipment and all the necessary things. So we are going next, traveling to another server where we spent a lot of time, and that is Aberration. I will go slowly through the story maps first. So on Aberration we built a massive resource farming base. Maybe I can spawn on that strider. I built this base on platforms, on pillars to avoid Nameless to be spawning, as we are in bioluminescent area, and it is quite dangerous. It is not a safe place to walk, because you can be attacked by megalosauruses, by basilisks, Nameless. And it was main objective. We have this base is for metal farming, as you can do one circle around the base with the strider and you can get all the metal you can dream about. Also on this map were some fun events, because we had to fight Alpha Rockwell, and the main obstacle was that we had to find an Alpha Reaper, and that took us a couple of days to find it and then kill it. Otherwise there is not that much, as I've had some plans for future, as to breed on this map or build something else or use it for practical stuff. But it came to an end. All these creatures will be gone. We can go to Extinction now. As Extinction was one of the maps we played a lot as well, because drops, orbital drops were part of the fun. And one time we had an orbital, purple orbital drop when we went to 100 waves, as we were in group with Gigas, and there is no friendly fire, so it was easier. We didn't damage the drop while fighting next to it. Back in time it was a little bit different with this base, and we have changed it, and in my final stage I moved everything down here. We can fly out. Because we used to have the base up here, and we had a station in snow. So we had, this was the base of operations. for mainly orbital drops and element farming. And that was the purpose. We also organized some events with boss fights as we went for the Alpha Titan, King Titan. So it was again in cooperation with others that we were doing that. I learned a lot and had a lot of fun. And all these things are going to be gone soon. Then we have to travel to next story map. And that is Genesis. The map we did not conquer fully because there were issues. There were issues with that map, as I had multiple crashes, especially in ocean biome. But here I built my signature base on a metal platform. Okay, can we move? We have the heliport. So it once auto-decayed on me, so I had to rebuild it, which was not an easy task. So here we had the base, and below the base we had a platform. There were other bases because I was not alone. But the platform stands still, and also the cliff is now still functional. We built some teleports to be able to move around the map, and this was only for mainly for completing missions, having some fun in them, and we still did not made it to defeat Alpha Master Controller because it's very difficult. But we defeated the Beta, and that's one of the bosses we cannot do on. I just can't do that on my own. After that, we have Genesis 2 as the next storyline map. Again, that was not my home. My home is on Valguero, but I built some facilities to be able to move around and have some equipment ready to be used. One of that is underground ocean. Yeah, I think I have to change the equipment. I can go to my other base that's on the surface where we used to have our main base of our tribe. And as it auto-decayed, I rebuilt it from tech. With some plans for it, but it will never come to completion because we are ending the storyline. Here we also tamed tons of reapers because I had some very creative tribe mates who were able to find ways how we can get dozens of reapers from a single reaper queen. Yeah, and then you can see how creative some of my tribe made, because that is the base my brother built, which was his main. As resources are not scarce on Genesis 2, so he went big. It's not that fancy, it could be much better. But I think he had a lot of fun while doing that. So we are, as you can see, also he went very big when he built an underwater breeding base out of tech. And you can see that was not a small thing to build. So I was not the only megaloman. I was not the only megaloman in this game. And you cannot do that as easily if you don't have a cluster that is stable, that is not wiped regularly. So let's have... We have only single life. And if we consider that we have about 80,000 hours in our life to achieve something, and I spent 7,000 of those hours in ARK, we can say it was a bit wasteful. I never played a lot on Fjordur. I played a little bit on Scorch, but never had a base there. What I played, no, I never played a lot on Crystal Isles, but I built a base on Ragnarok, where another tribe mate had his main base of operations. And I went for resources, as there is underground obsidian deposit, and you can get several tens of thousands of obsidian per in an hour, and then make it into polymer. You can see we have a lot of polymer here, a lot of metal. I'm not going to have a fly around, not that meaningful. And last part, when we have to go, is the center. And on center I have similar base to that which I have on Genesis, which is built on metal platforms, on a cliff, on a rock, about the jungle area. So we are going to spawn. And I think we will have a flight. Take RNCC Discovery and have a flight on the center. And we are going to talk about points which I want to highlight. So we have only one single life, and there are no respawns as we have in PC games. So we can consider that this is a planned and controlled death of my survivor and the end of my story in ARK. And with that, we can see that no value, there is no value. Yeah, no value. I'm just looking at my script. So not that much value can be translated in real life from the game, even though you play it a lot of hours, thousands in my case. So to find some kind of real value, that's not that easy. Everything that was achieved, built, farmed, bred and collected in game is going to be erased. Only few memories will remain, but these have very little meaning from eternal perspective. And here we can see the vanity inside this way of life within a game. There are many similarities to real life as well, as many people just play with their lives with no eternal purpose. They are working on personal achievements, accumulating wealth and building structures, and then they die one day. But the main difference is that in real life there is much more pain and suffering in the process and no response. Everything is more complicated, it is harder to predict future outcomes, and there is impact on life of others, which cannot be told about this game as much. So what are the achievements? Because I built those vulgar structures which I potentially can be proud of because they are unique. We were touring the maps a little bit, so we have seen other structures. And all the bosses we conquered on Valguero, all of them. On Scorch, all of them. On Ragnarok, all of them. On Center, all of them. Need to get back to base. That's I think there is the base. So I think I will open the transmitter to see all the maps, because I'm not that great. I don't remember everything, even though I played it for thousands of hours. So, Island, all bosses conquered. Ragnarok, all bosses, the hardest boss conquered. Not all of them, but the hardest were. Fjordur, I never played that one, unfortunate. So it would be more to play. Crystal Isles, didn't play that a lot. Aberration, we conquered all the bosses. Genesis 2, we didn't conquer the hardest one. Because a lot of missions have to be done, and I didn't have the time to complete all the missions as they were cooperative efforts. You cannot do that on PvE on your own. So we can go back to Valguero. So when we can focus on breeding, and I have thousands of creatures in ARK Smart breeding, which were hatched, which were born a lot of generations. We have a little bit distorted colors now. So you can see we have like 9 health, 9 melee mutations. For Rexes, I've made those practically in a couple of months, but I don't have that much time. 89 mutations on Gigas in Melee, and many more. I think it's... So we will have a... So let's continue. We can fly around on Valguero just to reach the flight. And let's go that direction. So, and this is the vanity of all. Although in game these things may have meaning, all the breeding, the structures, the resources collected, they do not have much meaning in real life. The only meaning I can find are the lessons we can learn in the memories from playing with others. There was a significant social potential, but it is not the same as socializing in person, face to face. Because personalities in game are artificial and there is lack of true human expression during interactions. And not just that, everything is temporary and artificial. And there are a couple of parallels. We can see the parallel of life and death. While in game there is respawn mechanic, it still points to inevitable necessity of death. And in life, the mechanics of life are much more complex and unpredictable. In both realms, in real life and in game life, we have a lot of vanity. All the achievements and possessions lose their value for that person. While in game you can respawn, one day it will still come to an end, as we will see. And we are going to experience in my case. And many principles in real life and in game are the same. You try hard, you struggle, you suffer a lot, and reach some goals, which may be just very temporary in character. But there can be a different perspective that aims for things that are eternal. I decided to end my ARK journey as I do not see more potential for meaningful progress. I would rather use my time and strive for something that cannot be erased that easily. But as I spend so much time and effort in building my own vanity empire, I'm still emotional about it. I also consider this to be a very good game from design perspective, because it was able to entertain me for such a long time. It just provides a lot of variety of gameplay, and I think the lockdown situation amplified that even further. To have to learn a lot to become an expert and to play more efficiently, you can do a lot of things. You have to learn. You can farm resources, build structures, tame creatures, breed them, explore worlds and conquer bosses. But only in PvE you can have a more long-term focus if you are playing on a stable server cluster as I was playing. And even though these are only virtual worlds, they can facilitate some interactions between humans. One of the biggest events I remember was the organization of the New Year party for the whole server here on Valguero. Many were participating and there was a lot of fun while preparing the venue, using the game stuff and organizing the event. But now let us discuss what we can learn from the game itself, as there are more parallels to draw. First thing we can notice is that the game is called ARK, which actually refers to Noah's Ark. The story of ARK is unfolding over time, and with last Genesis 2 DLC we realize that survivors are on a spaceship warping between systems while searching for place suitable for life, as Earth was destroyed by corruption. Secondly, we can see how element can lead to excessive human corruption of Rockwell, who wants to become gods. But we can also see corruption in other ways, especially in PvP, when the corruption of human hearts is unleashed. So much looting, stealing, destruction and killing of Thames and other survivors for fun and thrill. And there can be a lot of work required to build something, and in a matter of hours everything is destroyed. So that is another level of vanity, when corruption takes away everything you work for on 4 days in a couple of hours. Thirdly, there is a creative aspect when we engage in building structures and bases for whatever purpose. You can go for functionality or aesthetics and be creative, but nothing will build itself on its own. You have to think about it, work on it and complete the whole project. No random process can do that. Fourthly, we can see the devastation people are capable of. In-game everything is designed to respawn relatively fast, and I mean really fast, almost instant. I remember cutting down all trees in the huge forest, and in a couple of hours they were back. We hunted some creatures for taming and we killed hundreds of them to get few good breeders. In that we can see what happened to some creatures in real life as well. They were all kinds of now extinct animals in the Ark of Noah. But due to slow reproduction cycles they were hunted and went extinct. Just short time after the Noah's Ark landed on mountains of Ararat, we have a reference to a famous hunter called Nimrod. Fifthly, we can see the breeding mechanic that can teach us about the impossibility of evolution. In ARK, you do not have negative mutations, so you can only improve the creature. You can push the creature to extreme stats, but eventually you will always have the same creature, only stronger. It is not a random process. You need to breed systematically, or you will have no or only very little progress. And I really went hard on breeding, so I know what it takes, even when things are so simplified and accelerated. But in real life you cannot have several generations in a week. And there are much more features of each creature that are an unknown variable, unlike in ARK. Because what is the DNA of a creature in ARK? You have some colors, you have a couple of stats, but the real genome is much longer than that. And like in real world, you cannot interbreed different creatures. Then we can also easily compare the relationship. A relationship with a game to real relationship with a person, but it's more artificial. While it is a very artificial, there are some common aspects, as I can recall my play. Let's have another map for where we are going. Yeah, let's go to another map. So you can... I fell in love early with the game. That's the thing. I spent hundreds of hours playing during the first month. And as I was investing more and more, what map we will going to have? I think we can go to Genesis too. So as you invest more and more, you build more, you breed more, and some of stuff and creatures you start to like, you have some kind of connection to those things, even though they are not so living, are quite artificial. But while unlike playing in single player, online cluster play requires a level of commitment, because you have to come back regularly to prevent auto decay and despawn of creatures and starvation. Yeah, so regular interactions are required like in a real relationship, but it's not a person. And when a favorite creature dies because you made a stupid mistake, it hurts. But in real relationship, not everybody but as in real relationship, not everybody takes that seriously. But as I did not have a real relationship over those years, this was a supplement for me, even though it was only virtual, and thus there was a level of commitment on my side. And here we come to the end of the stream. I mean, what can we do? Here we end our journey, not willing to invest another 10,000 hours or 1,000 hours. And as we end the journey, I will soon ask the admin to delete all creatures and structures. Then I can delete my database of breeders, all the game files, and nothing will be left except some memories. End this video and maybe other videos or streams. But I really learned something, even though it was only a game. but the principles within were real. I am studying historical science and heard many scientists talk about creation. It does not matter if it was intentional or just an unconscious choice, some unconscious choices made by developers of this game that point towards hidden past that cannot be replicated as we cannot travel back in time. Many creatures went extinct because of overhunting and slow reproduction cycles in real life. Many biomes were destroyed by human invasion in pursuit of some temporary wealth and achievements. A lot of human work was destroyed because of the sinful corruption manifested through some people. Even lives were taken by people who had the power to destroy them, while they did not care for other human lives. And eventually, everybody dies and all the work will decay and all the achievements will be forgotten. How remarkable that is that we are in the corrupted ring, in the Rockwell's corrupted part. But do not worry, there is a positive outcome, it just needs to read further and get to the end of the Bible. Because the story of ARK is at the beginning, with extensive corruption and some people get saved. And in the Bible there is new heavens and new earth without corruption, without eternal structures and without death. And while my story in ARK ends here, my story in life continues. And the channel exists not only to entertain, but also to share some insight, thoughts and experiences. And if you do not believe in that, you do not have to fight against it. Just do not waste your time and effort on fighting something that is not real. So here we come to the end, after years. I think there was a way to present it better. We were able to get into an hour and something. Yeah, that will be the hardest part. To ask the admin to delete it all. We are going to leave everything behind and end the journey. All the work, all the efforts, all the vanity that have no value in real life. Only if you can add something eternal to it, to build some relationships. But nothing of this is real, even though it distracts and provides some level of entertainment. All the bosses defeated mean nothing in real life. All the creatures bred mean nothing in real life. And all comes to the end here. Vanity of vanities. And imagine, many people do the same in real life and don't realize that everything can go away at today. Not looking at the historical evidence of stuff that are more valuable, unable to look forward from eternal perspective. 7,000 hours of work. All gone, condensed into couple of memories, couple of hours of stream, some relationships, and everything that is in this world will be gone as well. So how do we end it? Saying goodbye to everything. I will never see you again. Everything will be gone. The end of my journey in ARK. Another game I played a lot, maybe the most of all games in my life. Play a game that held me at times when I was not that stable, with not having proper relationships to keep me motivated. I was able to have some relationships with virtual creatures, some goals, and got some progress. With a little bit less suffering, exercise. And here we come. The end. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you can get something good of this. I think here is some value, and I hope I can gain something of that in future, something that has eternal value. The end of the ARK. A farewell, never coming back, going to be uninstalled, going to be removed. Only memories will remain. Well, thank you everybody, and we will never have another stream of ARK ever again. We will never waste time in this game again. And we will focus on other games and other content. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another stream. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. It's not over yet. And don't forget, there are eternal values, better things than just achievements and wealth. Because relationships are much more valuable. So that's all for me for this one. I can come back later with workers and resources stream, but I really wanted to make this. Bring this to an end. Bye.